Today's date is March 16th, 2008. It's a Sunday night, and I want to record my diary for today, or my workout. I went to Bally's in the city of Westlake, Ohio, and I ran on the treadmill for a total of 2 hours. I ran about 16 and a half miles, burned off approximately 2,000 calories, give or take 20 calories. And, excuse me, sneezing there. So I did a really good job today, and I called up Bally's today, and I thought they closed at 6, and I figured, I'll just get 8 miles in. Well, they told me over the phone around 3 o'clock that they didn't close till 8, so since I was closer to Bally's than my home treadmill, I decided I'll go ahead and run on the treadmill. So I said, what the hell? And I'm glad I did it because, let me lean in here more. I'm glad that I did it because I feel that I accomplished an awful lot today. I missed yesterday. I ran 5 miles in that St. Malachi 5-miler, and I did super in that run. I said, sorry, I got a little itch here. It itches everywhere. So I haven't showered since I ran on my treadmill. And I'm kind of itchy. So I haven't, it was technically the way it worked like this. Saturday, which was yesterday, I was supposed to run a total of 21 miles. After running 5 miles and doing it in record time, I was too beat, and I didn't feel like going to the gym and doing 16 more miles. So I figured I'll do it the next day, and I made it up. Today was technically supposed to be my day off, but I ran anyways. And I want to say that I persevered, and I'm proud of myself. And I have my St. Malachi video posted on the internet for those that want to see what the run was like. I didn't get to capture myself in the act of running here, but it doesn't matter. You get to see the gist of how the run looks like. It was over 1,000 people that ran there was a 2-miler and a 5-miler, and over 1,000 people, about 1,028 people or so participated in the 5-miler. And I finished 58 out of like 1,028. I was in the top 5.6, or let's just run it off, 6% of the runners. And that was yesterday. I mentioned that. And I kept thinking about how wonderful of a thing this was. I'm just going to carry this silly camera here. I'm glad that I did what I did because I feel like I busted my butt off training, and it's not easy to train like this. Especially, like at times, like I'm going through some tough times with the fact I'm not employed right now, and my ebook is not getting tons of sales, so I'm not marketing it correctly. And as a result, I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, so I need to find a job. But I will say the good news is that as I've said this before, my running has been it's been very instrumental in keeping my mind off all the negative stuff like this crappy economy we're living in. The fact that George Bush is president, the fact that we need to get the hell out of Iraq, and the fact that I'm not right now, I don't know. I just wish there were better things in my favor, but then again, my running comes in handy. Tomorrow, I'm going to call the Boston Athletic Association tomorrow, or this person that works within the system, and I'm going to see if I can it's 5 weeks from tomorrow, the 17th. By the way, it's St. Patrick's Day in Cleveland. And anybody knows about St. Patrick's Day in Cleveland, it's like one of the 3rd or 4th biggest St. Patty's Day parades. There's a lot of big cities. Savannah, Georgia comes to mind. I lived there for 3 years. They got a huge parade there. But I'm not going downtown. I'm probably going to head back to my apartment because I'm not into that drinking thing. And plus, every time I go out and drink, I just get sloshed. And I don't get laid anyways. To me, bars are a big waste of money unless you're going to get laid and unless you're going to have a good time with friends. And I gave up on the bar scene a long time ago. That's why I do running. It's another thing that keeps my mind off of all that negativity is that I don't go to the bars anymore. And that's a totally different subject. I'm going to talk about that in my next installment of videos called Why I Hate the Bar Culture. And it's going to be interesting to say the least. But I won't get into that now. You'll get to see the funny side of me. For those of you that strictly only watch my videos for the content of my Boston Marathon training, then you're in for a real treat. You're going to see all my cynical views of the world. By the time you are done, you'll probably want to call up the FBI and have me arrested. No, not that bad. Well, probably under Bush's administration, I'll be looking at that. So, but I am not an egomaniac. If I say the wrong thing and I offend people, tough shit. No. The only time I say tough shit is if I feel that I'm talking about a subject that I've researched and people want to be politically correct and indignant about it. Then I tell them, look, you know what? You need to investigate the facts. But I'm getting off on a tangent here, and I don't want to. So let's talk about this running here. I want to say something very interesting. I was thinking while I was running on the treadmill today at the gym, how important it is how amazing the difference between training for long distance for a short distance versus short distance is unbelievable. This one guy that I was talking to yesterday he was like a young kid, maybe in his early 20s, and I said, "What's your planned score?" He says, 5-minute miles for the 5 miles. I says, "Man, that's good." I says, "You ever run a marathon?" He says, "Nope." And I don't, he had no intentions of running one. And he didn't. And he convinced me. He kept saying, "Oh, I couldn't handle that. I'm out of breath once I'm done with 5." So I'm very proud of myself. Running 16 and a half miles today is not an easy feat. Yeah, but now it's becoming so routine now. It's like, figure if I could do 15, 16 miles a day, 6 days a week, that's 90 miles a week. And I could easily be doing a sub 250 or 240 easily if I really wanted to. I'm still in shape I could probably win the Akron Marathon one year or the Cleveland Marathon if I kept up with the training and stuff. And being the fact that I got nothing better to do, and I want to be in an elite. I figure it this way: if I can't be a Don Juan and be some guy that either gets laid a lot or has a lot of money, and I can't be in that minority, I might as well be in a minority that can run marathons and be in the top, say, 1,500 guys that can go out there and do that. Because with all the lazy slugs in our society, I just need to keep my mind on my running. And the nice thing about running is it keeps your mind off of sex anyway. So when you're not getting any and you're running 15 miles a day, it doesn't matter because you're not missing out on anything. So I don't know. There's this one guy on there. His name is Bill 122-460. I accidentally came across his videos, and I just started watching his videos because I'm a YouTube junkie, and he's hilarious, and I kind of like him, but I think I want to say I agree with a lot of what he says, but then I don't agree with a lot of what he says. But I feel bad for him because he's been jerked around a lot, and from what he sounds like, he's really had a pretty bad time in the dating world and stuff. But you need to go to see Bill 122-460 and put that in your YouTube search engine and listen to some of his videos. If anything, it's entertaining too. Listening to him complain, because I give him credit. I emailed him and I said, Bill, I give you credit for being a man and going out there and, complaining about the dating scene and how people judge by looks and the double standards. And I says, I give you at least credit for being a man, because there's probably hundreds of thousands of men that feel the same way you do, but they don't say it. And even at some cynical points in my life, I used to think that way too. I told him to get a hobby. I says, if you get yourself a hobby rather than, sit around and drink and watch NASCAR like most rednecks do, and most beer-bellied couch potatoes do, and of course sports and everything, then it changes the whole dynamics of everything. Since I've become a runner, what has this done for me? Well, let's see. I got to meet Bill Rogers, the Hall of Fame runner. He knows me personally, as he probably knows thousands of people personally. John Elway, the quarterback of the whatchamacallit. I doubt he really cares about his jackass sports fans that pay $50 a pop for his autographs. The difference between a professional runner, a retired runner, and a retired ball player is the retired ball player has such a contempt toward his fans, whereas a guy like Bill Rogers respects his fans because, he's a guy that sees guys and gals come to his the conventions that he's at, and he respects the fact that they're doers, not consumers with big fat beer bellies, and sons named Hunter and Caleb. But he's a kind of guy that really is down to earth, and like all the other great running stars, like I get into all of them. There's a bunch of them, but you meet them at the conventions all the time, and they're just down to earth people. And so, anyways, I'm just rambling on here. I'm sober and I'm rambling on. I'm out of here. Bye bye.